Our next subject is Nintendo's pushing digital games. And I'll put pushing in quotes because it's not so much them as they're opening the door for everyone to knock it the hell down and just start making digital games. And I'll explain that in a second. So, if you don't know, Switch 2 is coming out. If you live under a rock and have nothing to do with video games, and you might be saying to yourself, why the hell are you guys covering this on your channel? You cover mostly retro stuff. Why are you talking about something new? Well, we do talk about new stuff from time to time, A. And B, we do talk a lot about physical and digital stuff and how Wes and I are physical collectors. Obviously, you see some stuff that I have behind me. Wes has an extensive collection, like way bigger than mine, from years and years, and he still collects to this day. So do I.
Mhm.
So we care a lot about physical media. That's why we're having this conversation, even though I know we're late to the party and people have already been talking about this for at least a week or two. But Nintendo's game key cards is where I want to start. And what a game key card is, it's a Switch cart that has nothing on it. It's just a cart that allows you to download the
Mhm.
game. And what's interesting about this, from what I can understand, is I could take that digital cart and give it to you, and you could have the digital game also. Like you still need to have that cart, but it requires a download.
Yeah.
So it's digital.
Hmm.
It's a physical item that has
Right.
a digital key code that whoever has that key code can download and use it. That's my understanding of how it works. So it's a little bit different from a digital game because you can, you know,
You can share it.
you can share it. Yeah.
So, okay, good idea, bad idea, because I spend $80 to buy this game. I give it to you. You give it to the next person. You give it to the next person.
Hmm.
There's got to be a cap on how many people can actually use that same digital card.
I don't think so.
I mean, because they're going to be losing money. It's one person has to buy a game, and then he can
Well,
share it with 100 of his friends.
well, yeah. It's just like if I bought a physical game from the store. In that aspect, yes, it's like buying a physical game, right? Because they're buying these in the store. They're not. They're digital,
You're right.
digital games that are on a cart. But you know, they're forcing you to do the download. It's like a half measure. Is the way I'm looking at this. Like
Hmm.
the Switch did very good with physical compared to other companies. Very, very good. Moving into the Switch 2, they're like, okay, well, how can we? This is my idea, or this is what I'm thinking. Rather, they're thinking, how do we get people to get closer to digital games? Well, let's make a half measure. We'll still give them a physical product in the store, but we're going to make them download it. They can still share it with a friend, and then they're going to get it and they're going to download it, but then they're not going to have the copy anymore. You know, the other thing they did too was they made their digital games shareable, and I think you just have to be in their family network. So if you and I were in our family network, I could share
Hmm.
a game with you, and
Right.
you'd have it for 7 days, and you can give it back to me early. But if you don't, on day seven, it's going to come back to me no matter what.
Yep. Okay, that I know, which makes sense. That I can I can agree with.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think they're doing these consumer friendly things to ease people into digital, you know, or at least semi ease them into digital. Like, oh, look, you can still do this, you can still do that. And before you know it, you're like, I don't need to buy that game from the shelf. I'd rather just have the digital copy. If I want to share with you, I could just send it to your Switch as long as you're my family network.
So here's a question for you: the with Nintendo pushing these game key cards, these physical key cards,
Hmm.
how what how's that going to affect the market? You think they're going to be worth anything? Are they going to be like digital? Because right now, as we know, digital is not worth anything because it's not nothing tangible.
I don't think collectors are going to want it. I'm a collector, and here. I'll use myself as an example.
Okay.
Where this is going to kind of get into another topic shortly, but I will not be buying Xbox game physically probably at all anymore because the data is not on the disc. And that's the number one purpose is that the data be on the disc. So
Mhm.
when the servers are offline in 20 years or something, I can be like, all right, I'm gonna go play this game and put it in,
Mhm.
and I won't be able to download anything. So that needs to be on the disc,
Right.
and if it's not, then that defeats the purpose of me having it. So why don't I just buy it digitally at that point? For the box on the shelf? Are the servers even going to recognize the game when I put it in 20 years from now? Is it going to be able to download?
Mhm.
I don't think so.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a thought.
Maybe a company as big as Microsoft could keep something like that going. I don't. This is why I'm getting away from that. Like they're literally pushing me away. The data's not on the disk. I don't care
Mhm.
about having an empty box or a box with a disk that's useless. So Nintendo's in the same boat. They're giving me cartridges with no data. I don't want
Mhm.
that. I'd rather have a physical copy. There are supposed to be physical copies still, just to be clear. Nintendo's not completely abandoning them. They're just going to have options where there are these things. So some games will have this, some games will not. I bet you third party people were going to be more inclined to do this. If not, just do digital completely because they're not. Then they don't have to produce anything, right? I'm not sure how many companies are going to take care, take part in this like half measure.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to play devil's advocate a little bit. Uh, It broke my heart. You said you're not going to buy any more Xbox games, but and the discs are blank.
And probably not
Okay, but I'm going to look at Indiana Jones. Okay, Indiana Jones. I bought physical
on Xbox.
on Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's on Game Pass, so I downloaded it, but I wanted it. I wanted to have a physical copy,
Mm-hmm.
even though the disc is blank. It's still an $80 game. Like
Today,
game today, right
how much
now.
will it be if the servers go offline in 20 years and that disk doesn't connect to anything, and then it's just a piece of plastic that is not playable? That's the question that we don't know the answer to yet.
It's true.
We're getting close. I mean, PS3 games, 360 games. Actually, we probably could find out if we went back and popped some of those in and figure out. But even at that point, in PS3 360, that data was still on the disk.
Correct.
So it's really like the Xbox One generation, servers are still up. PS4 generation, servers are still up. Once that generation starts to sunset, then you're going to get a real clear picture of if, those digital games that were not on the disc will actually
Mhm.
trigger a download.
Gotcha. All right, we'll see. It's just a thought. I don't know.
Do you trust major corporations to do the right thing?
No, no.
There's your answer. Best way I can describe it to you is that right there.
I don't like it, man. I don't like it.
Yo, let me say this about Switch 2 before I talk about another Switch topic in a second. I am so happy with my physical Switch collection. Like it's one of my favorite collections, honestly, and it's
Hmm.
newer, and that's such a rare thing. I think it's because the system is portable. I can dock it to the TV. I like the little carts. They're in regular boxes. I wish they had manuals. That's my only real complaint.
Hmm.
Um, actually, I have two. The real manuals would be nice, and I wish the sides of them weren't identical. I wish they all just weren't red with white letters. I wish they had art on the side. That would be really cool to look at. But other than those things, I love my physical Switch collection, and I think that collection is going to be worth quite a bit. Like I think people for generations are going to really love
Hmm.
a Nintendo Switch. Seeing the Switch 2, in my eyes, when I started thinking about all this stuff, I'm like, okay, well, if I'm moving away from Xbox, at least I still have Switch. And in my head, I started planning like maybe Switch 2 is the last system I buy physical games for. And now I'm
Okay.
like, I don't even know if I care. Like maybe I do, but I don't know what it looks like yet. They said Donkey Kong Bonanza is going to be on the cartridge. Cool.
Hmm.
I'll buy Donkey Kong physically. But if I bought, let's say I buy 100 games for my Switch 2, how many of those am I even going to be able to get physically? Like really physically, where the information is on the
It's
cartridge.
on the cart. Yeah. All right. Yeah. You. I was going to ask you, were you actually going to get a Switch too?
Oh yeah, man. I love Nintendo. I love all video game systems. Xbox. Well, I don't care about PC.
I'm on the fence, man. I mean, I don't play my Switch as it is. I mean, I have it, and I do. I have played it, um, but it sits. My Switch hasn't been turned on in months. I don't know. I'm on the fence. Do I want to dive into a Switch 2 and get another system that I won't play as much? I don't know.
I mean, Zelda's a top tier game for me. I have to. I mean, if they were like, listen, we're gonna sell you this $500 machine, and you're gonna get two different Zelda games, like, sign me up. Here's my $500. Give me my two Zelda games. Especially after Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, I
Mm.
adore Tears of the Kingdom. Like, that might be my favorite game of the past generation, or at least one of them.
Okay.
Like, so that alone is enough to really push me in that direction. And Animal Crossing, I'm a huge Animal Crossing stan, which I may not look like it, or you would think of that, but I love Animal Crossing dearly, more so than Mario. I love both those games more than Mario. Um, I do like traditional Mario games. I prefer the
Mhm.
2D, or the Mario 3D World was
Mhm.
awesome. I like that better than most of the 3D games,
Okay.
unless we're talking about Mario 64, the GOAT, of course. So yeah, I'm gonna buy a Switch too.
Okay.
The tariff situation is gonna be tough. They don't have a price on it. They said 450 with no Mario Kart, or
Or
500 with
five
Mario Kart.
with Mario Kart. And now I was considering, like I said, I'm on the fence. But if I decide to get one, it would be the 500 with Mario Kart.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, this is a perfect point to transition into another conversation. So in a second, we're going to talk about Mario Kart and the pricing structure with that. But what about? Let me reverse that question to you. So, what would you need to spend $500 on a Nintendo Switch 2? Like, what would really? I know you're on the fence. That's what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
What would push you over the edge and say, I'm definitely getting this thing?
Ooh.
Just as a
Oh,
reminder, right now you have Mario Kart World,
right.
Donkey Kong Bonanza, which is a 3D
Mm-hmm.
Donkey Kong game, and
Mm-hmm.
Metroid Prime 2, which, to be fair, is also coming on Switch 1.
Right. Yeah. Metroid Prime Beyond.
Mm-hmm. I said 2. You're right. It's Metroid Prime
Beyond.
4 Beyond, or maybe the 4 is not even in the title.
I don't know. I don't know. I can't think of that one title that would make me say I'm buying a Switch.
Yeah, you don't have
Maybe
the Nintendo love the same way I do. You
I,
really
I, I
don't.
don't. I mean, I like Nintendo. Back in the day, I loved Nintendo, but now it's just kind of like, I think Xbox kind of filled that filled that space in my heart.
I get it.
I don't know. Yeah, I can't think of a single title that would make me say I have to get it.
Punch
Maybe
Out, F Zero, Zelda, 3D Mario, 2D Mario. Uh,
maybe Smash,
okay, all right.
maybe Smash Bros.
You'd be waiting a while.
Yeah, maybe Smash Bros. Unless they came out with like an exclusive of like because Resident Evil 4 was initially like the remake, where Resident Evil 4 was GameCube.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And for a long time it was GameCube only.
Yep.
Resident Evil 1 remake was GameCube only.
Yep. That's
So
true.
unless they do something like that, that's like, okay, I have to get a Switch too.
Okay.
That's where I'm at.
I can understand that. If you're not into the games the same way I am, I totally understand that. That's kind of like, no, I can't even say that. It's just like, I don't know. I love PlayStation for their first party titles. I
Mhm.
play pretty much everything on Xbox, whether it's first party or third party. And then Nintendo, I play mostly first party Nintendo games there. Like, Xbox is really my all around system, and then the other two are just exclusives,
Mhm. Okay.
which makes sense more than ever because Xbox is basically a third party company now. So you know,
Every time you say that, it just, I sink a little bit inside. It's like, oh,
I know, man. But let's get into the other thing. So let's talk about the prices for a second. Uh, in Europe, only in Europe, I want to be very clear. Maybe Japan, not the United States, not Canada. Well, I'm not even talking about Canada. Let's just say United States, because I have no idea what Canada's pricing is like. In Europe, for sure, though, Mario Kart World physically is $90 and digitally is 80. There's a
mm,
$10 discrepancy where they are charging more. Now, this is not happening in the US. It's $80 digitally or physically in the US, but there is that $10 price comparison. I think it's in the euro, if I remember correctly.
Bro, why am I having flashbacks in Nintendo 64 with these super expensive games?
Yeah, 64 had some very expensive titles, man.
Uh,
I think Killer Instinct was $90 when that came out.
yeah, there was a bunch of them. A couple of them that were like 89.99.
Yep, yep.
But yeah, I mean, 10. Whew, the games are already going to be expensive for Switch too. They already said the
Yeah.
games are going to be like like what, 69 to 79 bucks.
Yeah, most of the games are between $70 and $80, depending on the title. Like Donkey Kong Bonanza is a $70 game.
Mm-hmm.
Mario Kart World is an $80 game. So it is going to be kind of all over the place. They didn't rule out that some games would be cheaper, but most of the stuff they showed was, between $70 and $80.
And then to have an increased price.
Yeah, how do you like your physical tax? What if that happens over
Woo!
here?
I don't know, man. We're physical guys. I don't know. Would you pay it?
For $10, I'd probably pay it. 20, now you're really pushing me, man. Like,
So you would pay $100, almost $100 for a Switch game.
if it's physically on the cart and I
Mm-hmm.
do not need an internet connection to download something,
Mm-hmm.
maybe. That's
Okay.
that's like the top of the line. But to your
Okay.
point, about the question about the console earlier, I'm absolutely going to try to get that Mario Kart bundle because that means Mario Kart is $50 instead of 90 for physical. That's a
Correct.
$40 difference. Or I'm sorry,
Mm-hmm.
in the US it would be 80, so it would be a $30 difference. I will absolutely try to get the bundle of Mario Kart if I can,
Okay.
even though it's digital.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll bite the bullet, but it's a better deal. I would do it.
Yeah. Now here's the other thing you got to know about me. What did I mention earlier? I don't typically pay full price for any games. I wait and I watch those prices all the time. I have like 5 accounts on Twitter that I'm looking at, all the time about deals and stuff. And most of the games I buy them on the cheap, you know, or at least the cheaper. So a lot of my Switch games, you know, they do go on sale. They don't go on
Mm-hmm.
sale often. There's a fallacy that people constantly say, "Oh, Nintendo games never go on sale." No, that's not true. They do go on sale. You just have to know when to look and pay attention. Do they go on sale often? No. You just got to be ready to pull the trigger when they do. And a lot of my Switch games I've gotten under $40.
Okay.
Some of them I've gotten under $20. It just depends.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I fully plan on doing with Switch 2. Now, what might backfire is if this digital push happens and they really get people buying digital games a lot,
Mm-hmm.
well, they're not going to make as many physical games, which means it already is getting harder on other systems, but it's probably going to get harder to judge when to pick it up. Like, okay, the price has dropped $20. Do I pull the trigger now, or do I gamble and see if it goes lower? Because if that print run is low and you didn't take that $20 drop, might not be there the next time at all. Period.
Yeah.
That's already a problem I have with physical games now that I'm buying, and I'm wrapping it up, Wes. It's getting wrapped up. That's gonna lead us into another topic in a minute. Maybe we should just go there now. Is there anything else you want to mention about
I'm
Nintendo?
good, man. I'm good. Well, I'll keep everybody posted if I decide to pre-order a Switch too.
You got it, man. Come on. Don't you want to visit my island on Animal Crossing? You know it's coming, Wes.
I don't play Animal Crossing. I ain't got time for that. My daughter plays. She loves it.
That's amazing. It's an amazing game, Wes. One day I'll get you.
Nah, I
All
can't
right.
shoot. I can't shoot anything. So nah.
You can shoot a slingshot.